Hi, I'm Dan Cortopassi. Today I'm reviewing Kato's N-Scale 2017 Operation North Pole Christmas train. My example is decorated for Chicago's Metra and represents the 2017 version of this train. Operation North Pole is a volunteer-based public charity that works with Chicago's major children's hospitals. They use the train to give children battling life-threatening illnesses a day of fun on a fantasy ride to the North Pole. Kato is donating a portion of the proceeds from the sale of these train sets to the ONP organization. The MSRP for the set with the locomotive and 5 cars is $260. I got mine for $168.99 from a popular online retailer. This set includes the train only and does not include track or a power pack. Kato has also offered the 2015 and 2016 versions of this train in starter sets with a locomotive, 3 cars, track, and a power pack for around the same price. If you're a beginner and don't already have some track, or if you want to use this train around a Christmas tree, Kato sells Unitrack sets separately that will make a complete oval. Any DC power pack for model train use should work fine with this set. If you're buying your own track, make sure that at least one section has wires to connect it to the power pack. We'll start the set at 100 possible points. The set comes in a vinyl case with a cardboard outer wrapper. The case opens like a book and has a foam cradle inside that protects the locomotive and cars. An instruction sheet is also included that shows how to apply the number boards, optional alternate snowplow, and other small details to the locomotive. These parts are included in a small plastic bag. The instructions also explain how to operate the lights in the cab car and how to install coupler trip pins. The coupler trip pins are only needed if you plan to use magnetic uncouplers. The train will work just fine without them. This is an excellent box that should do a great job protecting the trains for storage and transport. There's a photo of the prototype train on the Kato USA website, and overall the models appear to be a close match. The way the graphics cover the car windows is accurate. Modern commuter coaches are often wrapped in temporary coverings like this. The train operates on a Metra route that uses Union Pacific track, so the engine carries both Metra and UP logos. It's a small detail and hard to see on the model, but the real Metra 166 does not have a snowplow on the pilot. More noticeable is the white color of the pilot that's visible on the picture on Kato's own website, though it's unclear if the pilot is really white or just dusted with snow and ice. After getting most of the other details about the Metra locomotive right, it's disappointing that Kato got this wrong, so I'm taking 5 points. The paint on the models is opaque and thin enough not to obscure detail. The separation lines between the colors are sharp, even over tricky areas like the grills on the sides of the locomotive. Most of the tiny writing on the models is legible with magnification. Most of the detail on the models is molded on, but very well done. I really like the window gasket detail on the locomotive and cab car windows. The engine has nice fuel tank and other details under the sill. The cars have molded on corner steps. The non-operating doors are nicely rendered. On the ends, the cars have basic detail, including non-operating diaphragms. The cab car has a snowplow, windows, and lights on the cab end, as well as a separately applied horn casting. The locomotive has a snowplow in front along with an assortment of lights. Not all the lights are functional. As I mentioned earlier, the number boards are included but not installed. In back, the engine has nice end platform detail. Just like the real engine, it lacks railings. On top, the engine has nice detail, including separately applied air conditioners, beacon, and horn. The fans are molded on but are well done, with blade detail visible inside. The roofs of the cars have molded on vent detail in the middle. Underneath, the cars have underbody detail molded into the floor. This is nicely done and looks good when the cars are on the track. All of the cars are equipped for electrical pickup. Kato sells passenger car lighting kits separately if you want to light the interiors. The cab car has a switch on the bottom to activate or deactivate the lights on the end. The headlights should be on when the train is running cab car first. The locomotive has air reservoir and other detail near the fuel tank. It picks up current from all 8 wheels and all the axles are powered. The locomotive and cars have Kato knuckle couplers. The coupler on the A end of the locomotive is low, so I'm taking 5 points. The coupler on the B end is also low. The couplers on all the cars are low, so I'm taking another 5 points, bringing us to the maximum 15-point total deduction for coupler height. One good thing is that since all the couplers are low, they're more or less consistent with each other, so they're less likely to cause trouble when the train set is running as a unit. All of the wheels on the locomotive and cars are in gauge according to the NMRA standards gauge. There's no body wobble. That means that the cars don't continue to rock back and forth when tipped. The locomotive weighs 3.4 ounces. The engine's drawbar pole peaks at 0.5 ounces, which is comparable to other N-scale diesels. The locomotive has more than enough power to pull the 5 cars that come with the set. The cars weigh 1.3 ounces each. just slightly under the 1.4 ounce NMRA recommended weight for cars of this length. The cars are very free rolling. The engine is set up so that the headlights come on when it's running forward, and the red reverse lights come on when it's going backwards. The cab car is set up in a similar way, which is pretty cool. To install the number boards, first you need to cut them out. Be careful as they have a tendency to want to fly away. Fortunately, mine didn't go far. I used my fingers to push the number boards into the slots above the windshield. The rear MU hoses need to be cut out as well. There are 2 left and 2 right, so you have 1 extra of each. I used some small pliers to hold them. Pins on the back of the hoses fit into holes on the rear pilot. The coupler trip pins fit through holes in the couplers. I used some pliers to install them. As I mentioned earlier, you only need these if you want to use magnetic uncoupling. If you do use them, be sure to leave a gap between the trip pin and the top of the rails. Like most N-scale diesels, an aftermarket DCC decoder can be installed in place of the original factory light board. The train runs really nicely and I didn't have any trouble at all with the couplers. I ran it around my loop of Kato Unitrack and didn't have any trouble at all with unwanted uncouplings or derailments. This particular set of Unitrack that I'm using is about an 11.5-inch radius and the cars work just fine on it. So let's take a look at what we've got. The snowplow is incorrect for Metro 166, so I took 5 points in the prototype accuracy category. The locomotive and cars had low couplers, so I took the maximum 15-point coupler deduction in the standards and operation category. That leaves us with a total of 80 out of 100 possible points, which would be a B- on a report card. This is a nice train, and the fact that the coupler heights are more or less consistent with each other makes the coupler height less of an issue. I feel very comfortable giving this set a green signal. I really like this train. Kato makes a really good quality product and this train's no exception. It runs really well and it stayed on the track and doesn't come uncoupled. Their engines usually will run for years and years and years without any trouble. Whether you're a beginner or you're looking for something to use as a Christmas decoration, or if you want a prototypical train to run in a Chicago scene, I don't think you can go wrong with this train. Be sure to look for the next video next week because we're going to do something a little different, kind of a Christmas special. We're going to use this train and one other train to do some holiday decorating. So I think that should be pretty fun and Nicole's going to help me.